Hello, I'm Damon Bailey from IELTS Whiz. In this video, we'll go through our top tips and recommendations for the IELTS listening test. Here are our top tips for IELTS listening. These tips will help you to get the score you need during the listening section of the IELTS test. During the test, make sure you always read the instructions carefully. Make sure you know how many answers you need to choose for each question. Sometimes it may be one, but occasionally it may be more than one. Look to see if the listening has a title. If it does, start to think about the types of vocabulary you may be listening for, or anything you already know about this topic. Read through all the questions. You will be given a short amount of time to do this before you hear the recording. Underline keywords and phrases. Underline the keywords in the question and think of possible synonyms. Take note of any short phrases and think of how they could be paraphrased or said in a different way. In my opinion, recognizing paraphrasing and understanding a variety of synonyms or similar words for keywords in each question is the most important skill to master to improve your listening score. Most of the words and phrases in the written questions will be different from the words or phrases you hear in the recording. Use your reading time wisely. When looking at the question, try to predict what the answer might be for each question, rather than just scanning the questions or illustration. What facts will you hear during the listening? Will it be the name of a place? Will it be the price of something? Or will it be a specific time or an amount? When you're given time to read through the next section, make sure you read all the questions and get a good understanding of what they are asking. Do not check your answers from the previous section. You get 10 minutes to transfer your answers to an answer sheet at the end of the test. This is when you should check your answers thoroughly. It's important to follow the listening. Never spend too much time on one question. If you're not sure of an answer, take your best guess and move on. If you spend too long on one answer you're unsure of, you may lose where you are in the recording and miss the next 3 or 4 answers. It's better to get this one question wrong than to miss the next 3. So take a guess and keep following the recording. You need to check your answers thoroughly, so before you transfer your answers to the answer sheet, you need to make sure you check what you've written for your answers in each of the gaps. Things that you should make sure you get correct will include correct spelling of words, using capital letters when necessary, making sure you do not exceed the word limit, making sure the answer you've given is exactly what you heard in the listening, making sure the answer you've given is grammatically correct. If you think that what you heard in the listening is not grammatically correct, your best chance of a correct answer is to write exactly what you heard, and not try to change it to fit the gap. Make sure that each question you've answered is transferred to the answer sheet. And double check that each answer is beside the correct question number. Double check the instructions to ensure that you've used a word or a letter when appropriate. Make sure you answer all the questions in the listening task. No points are subtracted if you get something wrong, so it's best to always give some kind of answer. Most importantly, nothing beats practice. Actual practice is the best thing you can do to improve your listening score. Learning these techniques is one thing, but to be able to use them effectively, you need to practice them as much as possible before your test. The more you practice the questions, the more confident you will be in the real test. If you are having difficulty with a particular question type, for example, matching tasks, you should spend more time practicing this particular question type. In the real test, you only get to listen to the recording once, so you should get used to doing this when you are practicing. Try to familiarize yourself with a variety of accents because some accents may be harder for you to understand than others. Be sure to constantly expose yourself to English. Practice listening to news clips and watching videos or talks on the internet so you become familiar with listening to and watching the news and other information in English. When you are listening, you can ask yourself the following questions. What happened? Where did this take place? Who was involved? How many? How often? How did it happen? Why did this happen? Also, start to take notice of factual information that you hear during the news article or talk. You can write down the details you hear and replay the audio or video file to check the accuracy of what you've written. Try to do as many practice tests as possible so you know what to expect in the real test. You can even allow yourself 10 minutes to practice transferring your answers to an answer sheet and then check them. Make sure you check out our IELTS Whiz Band Score Booster online course that was created to help you achieve a great IELTS test result.